Hey, future RN. Let's talk about normal sinus rhythm, or NSR. Seriously, this is probably the most important ECG rhythm you need to know for the NCLEX. Why? Because every single other rhythm gets compared back to this one. It's the gold standard. So today, we're going to break down the 6 key criteria, what it looks like, and exactly why it's so important so you can walk into that test feeling super confident.
Welcome to ClearPath NCLEX. I'm so glad you're here. This is your go-to spot for high-yield content designed to help you pass that exam on the very first try.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll cover why NSR is the gold standard. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the 6 key criteria. From there, we'll connect it to the real world, from the monitor to the bedside. We'll even do some NCLEX practice questions, and I'll leave you with a final cheat sheet. Let's do this.
All right, section 1. So why do we call normal sinus rhythm the gold standard? I mean, what does that even mean? Well, it's pretty simple actually. This is the baseline. It's the perfect, ideal rhythm that every other heart rhythm is compared against. And trust me, on the NCLEX, you'll be doing that comparison a lot.
So what exactly is normal sinus rhythm? Think of it as the heart's happy place. It's the normal, healthy rhythm we always want to see. And that word sinus, that's a huge clue. It tells you the electrical impulse is starting exactly where it's supposed to, right in the SA node, the heart's own natural pacemaker. When you see NSR, it means the whole system is working just right.
Okay, now we're getting to the absolute core of what you need to know for your exam. Section 2, the 6 key criteria. I can't stress this enough. Mastering these is absolutely essential. So, think of this as your step-by-step checklist for identifying a perfect normal sinus rhythm.
So here are the big 6 all together. We've got heart rate, rhythm, P waves, the PR interval, the QRS duration, and last but not least, the QT interval. Don't worry, we're going to break each one down step by step so it all makes sense.
First up, criteria number 1, heart rate. This one's easy to remember. For NSR, the heart rate has to be between 60 and 100 beats per minute. That's for an adult who's resting. Simple as that. Anything below 60, that's bradycardia. And anything above 100, tachycardia. But for NSR, we're right in that sweet spot. All right, criteria number 2 is rhythm. In NSR, the rhythm has to be regular. Think of it like a metronome. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It's got a steady, consistent beat. A great way to check this on an ECG strip is to measure the distance from one R wave to the next one. In NSR, that R to R interval should be pretty much identical all the way across.
Okay, number 3, P waves. Now, this one is a huge deal. For it to be a sinus rhythm, you absolutely have to have P waves. But it's more than that. You need to see one and only one P wave right before every single QRS complex. It's like they're dance partners, always together, in a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. And they should be upright and nicely rounded.
Moving on to number 4, the PR interval. So what is this measuring? It's basically the time it takes for that electrical signal to travel from the atria down to the ventricles. There's this little tiny pause, and it's actually super important. It gives the atria just enough time to squeeze all the blood out before the big ventricles fire. The magic number here is between 0.12 and 0.20 seconds. And a hot tip for your NCLEX, that translates to 3 to 5 of those tiny boxes on the ECG paper. Remember that.
All right, number 5 is the QRS duration. This big spike represents the ventricles contracting. That's the main squeeze of the heart. Now, in a healthy rhythm, this should happen really fast. So what we're looking for is a narrow QRS complex. The duration has to be less than 0.12 seconds. On the paper, that means it should be less than 3 small boxes wide.
And that brings us to our final criterion, number 6, the QT interval. This one represents the total time for the ventricles to do their thing, to both activate or squeeze and then recover or reset. You can think of it as the complete on and reset cycle for the heart's main pumps. For NSR, this is usually somewhere between 0.36 and 0.44 seconds.
Okay, you did it. You've got the 6 technical criteria down. But here's the thing. The NCLEX isn't just about reading a strip. It's about knowing what it means for your patient. So let's move into section 3 and connect what we see on that monitor to what's actually happening at the bedside. This is where it all comes together.
So where do you actually see this perfect rhythm in the real world? Well, most often, you'll see it in a patient with a healthy heart who's just resting. It's also what we're aiming for. It's the goal after we've successfully treated other rhythms. And sometimes, you'll see it pop up once a stressor, like pain or a fever, finally resolves. Now, this next point is probably the most important thing you'll hear today. If you see normal sinus rhythm on the monitor, what do? The answer and your number one priority is always to assess the patient, not just the rhythm on the screen. I'm going to say that again. Assess the patient. Go check their pulse, get a blood pressure, see how they're acting. If they're stable and have no symptoms, fantastic. Just continue to monitor and document it. NSR is a normal finding. It doesn't need any treatment. And this naturally leads us to some super high-yield patient teaching points for the NCLEX. What do you need to tell your patients? Well, first, they should know their own normal resting heart rate. Second, they need to report any new symptoms. Things like dizziness or feeling like their heart is racing. And of course, always take their medications exactly as prescribed.
You are doing awesome. Seriously. Now it's time to put all that new knowledge to the test with a few quick NCLEX-style practice questions. Ready? Let's see what you've got.
Okay, question number 1. What is the normal heart rate range for normal sinus rhythm? I'll give you a second to think. That's right. If you said 60 to 100 beats per minute, you are absolutely correct. Nice job.
Okay, on to question 2. Imagine this. An ECG shows a regular rhythm at 78 beats per minute. You see a P wave before every QRS, and the PR interval measures 0.16 seconds. What rhythm is this? Take a moment. You got it. It's normal sinus rhythm. It checks all the boxes for our key criteria.
All right, last question, and this one's a big picture question. Your patient is in NSR with a heart rate of 92, but they're complaining of chest pain. What is your priority nursing action? Think about it for a second. The answer? Your priority is to assess the patient and figure out what's causing that chest pain. It's the perfect example of what we just talked about. Treat the patient, not the monitor.
You did a fantastic job on those questions. Seriously. Okay, let's wrap this all up with your final cheat sheet. These are the absolute must-know takeaways that you need to lock in your brain for the NCLEX.
Let's run through it one last time. Rate 60 to 100, and it's got to be regular. P waves, they have to be there, 1 for every QRS. PR interval, 0.12 to 0.20 seconds. QRS duration, less than 0.12 seconds. And what's the number one rule? Your priority is to always assess the patient first. If you can master these criteria, I promise you will feel so much more prepared for any rhythm question that comes your way on the NCLEX. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with me today at ClearPath NCLEX. If this explainer helped clear things up for you, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more high-yield content. Oh, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you never miss out on the next game-changing NCLEX tip. And before you go, drop a comment below and let me know, which of the 6 NSR criteria do you always check first? I'm curious. And yes, I really do read every single one. Remember, you're doing an amazing job. Keep studying. You've totally got this. I'll see you in the next one.